what we're not going to do is use me and use my energy and cultivate my energy and keep draining it because you see the, you know, the vibe. Girl, let them talk. But what we're not gonna do. Hi ladies, welcome back to the channel. I am Nina, and if you are new here, of course, welcome. It's always so good to have all you beautiful ladies on here with me. And today we're going to be talking about protecting your feminine energy. I think this is such an important message. I really want to get it out there. You know, it's really all good and well to cultivate your feminine energy, but what we don't talk about often enough, I think, is how to protect that energy. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So I'm just going to go into the reasons why I feel it's so essential to protect your feminine energy, and if you stay till the end, I will also drop some gems on how you can start putting protective measures around your energy. So I have my glass of water over here, keeping it fancy so that I'm encouraged to drink more water. And I have my notes here in front of me, so if you see me looking down once in a while, I want to stay on track for this one. So if you need to get your drink, your notebook, your pen, pause the video, do what you need to do, girl, and let's meet back. Okay, so protect your feminine energy at all costs. If you hear nothing else that I say in this video, take those words and run with them. Protect your feminine energy at all costs. Okay? So, why is this important? Feminine energy is really the essence, the juice, the water of the world. Think about if we had trees, for example, and all we had was just the trunk and the branches. No leaves, no flowers, no life, essentially. Just bare tree stump. Okay, so in a world where, you know, we're so predominantly in our masculine, feminine energy really becomes not just a breath of fresh air, it's literally the flower on the tree. You know, the difference between winter and spring is those little buds. That's feminine energy. That's what it is to the world, especially this world that we live in. So it's such an essential part of it. It may not really be given the flowers that it deserves, because obviously masculine energy is able to announce its presence more than feminine energy. But as soon as you come into some feminine energy, everything changes. You suddenly thirst, you know, and you thirsty, it's like you have the thirst of like 100 years, and you weren't even aware until that moment how thirsty you were, if that makes sense. That's literally what it's like. So I'm just painting this picture to help you ladies understand that, you know, that's what this energy is to the world. And it's men and women who feel the feminine essence around them. And it's not just men that you need to protect yourself from. And this video is predominantly about women as well, because there's a lot of masculine women that are going to be heavily triggered by your feminine energy, because it kind of indirectly highlights their hyper masculinity, and it's not a pretty sight. So you are going to need to protect your feminine energy from those women as well. I do have a video about, women that kind of attack you and all of that kind of stuff, all the subtle words and expressions that they will use. So I'm not going to go into that in this video. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I am going to highlight the other side of the coin where your energy is almost being harnessed, and if you're not able to put an end to it really quickly, you could really find yourself just really damaged and hurt. There's a lot of content about how to protect yourself from men, but there's not a lot of content when it comes to things like frenemies. Sometimes you meet people before you come into your feminine awareness. Sometimes you meet people afterwards, okay? And like I said, your essence, your energy is probably going to trigger women that are not ready for certain conversations. And by trigger, I don't mean they're going to look at you and just feel, just a little bit of jealousy or envy or whatever. I mean trigger in the sense that their whole emotional system almost comes into play. Use that to fuel yourself, like, okay, clearly that's something that I want. How do I get it? How do I do it? Let me learn. Let me do the work, right? Then it's great fuel, because even though it may not be a positive emotion, but you're able to actually transmute that energy, right? But if you are going to see something and it's going to trigger you because you want it and maybe you don't feel like you can attain it, and you start obsessing over those thoughts and over those emotions, in other words, you feel them for more than a fraction of a second, and you loop certain conversations around your brain, right? Then it becomes unhealthy. That's where obsessive behavior comes from. Like when people get obsessed with people, it's not always in a romantic way. Sometimes women get obsessed with other women, and because they feel like they cannot attain or keep her, if you understand what I'm trying to say with this gesture, they're not able to contain you. Then, you start becoming like a project to them. Like, how are they going to attain and contain your energy? And it's such a subtle thing, because no one actually walks up and says, I'm about to harness your energy, right? But you feel certain things that, your body, your intuition is telling you something is not okay over here. Okay. Right now, we're all aware of the beautiful woman, I don't know her name, who was brutally by her friends on vacation. Like, that just sums everything up. These are people that she trusted. These are people she probably even loved. These are people that she felt she could be vulnerable with. She'd be safe. She never, I don't imagine, thought that they would be the end of her life. And if we were able to gain access, we would probably see a few signs, certain comments, certain behaviors towards her that kind of let her know, I'm not the one to hang around with. But because of, her inability to protect her energy, she ended up actually losing her life, right? So it's not just a thing. It could cost you everything. Do you understand? Be very aware of the fact that it's not just men that want your feminine energy. It's women as well. Like I said, think about like that first flower in, spring, after everything has been dead and dry all winter, and that one little flower, that one little bud appears. Think about that feeling. That's what feminine energy is, right? Women also feel, the need to harness your energy. They need it, right? Not everybody has the best intentions with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's one. Two, learn to say no. If it does not feel good, ladies, it's because it's not good. And not because we're looking for an easy lifestyle or whatever. But do you understand what I'm saying? If somebody makes a certain request that just doesn't feel good to you, and it doesn't even mean like it feels dangerous, but it's just like, so for example, I'm the type of person that I love being at home. I love being at home. I love being in my space. In fact, that's a preference for me. So when I get invited out by a man, by a woman, whatever, it's always like, is this something I want to leave my house for? That is literally the question. The answer is no. Then I'm honoring that. Now, it's not easy because sometimes you feel you have to give an excuse or something like that. But at the end of the day, I do it. I weigh, and if I decide this is not worth me being at home or more, then, if it's an excuse that I have to come up with, if it's a straight up, I don't feel like it, whatever it is, but I will 100% push myself to honor how I feel. Because every single time I've gone against that feeling, I've regretted it. Every time I was like, oh, maybe I'm just being a little bit extra. Let me just like go out. Something happens and I'm like, ugh. See, if I was at home, there'd be none of this, right? It's your intuition. Now, yes, there are times where it's just like, for me, it's just social anxiety where I just don't really want to be out amongst people. And that's kind of, I don't know, we're still working that out, right? But that's from me. But if somebody invites me out and I feel like, you know what, it's just going to be draining for me, then I absolutely 100% do my best to push myself to say no. Saying no doesn't necessarily mean you have to say no. Sometimes you make excuses. Sometimes you just ignore people. Just let them figure it out. If they come through with something that, especially if all of you know what's up, but people want to be gaslighting you and stuff like that, I just ignore at this point in time, because I'm just like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, but you've been funny to me, oh, but why now, oh, but I don't feel like it, oh, but I don't like your company because of A, B, and C. Like, I used to be that girl. I'm not doing that, because people can be who they want to be, but once I get that whole vibe of we're not on the same page, then I'm not here trying to change you and mold you. You're a grown person, you know what you want to achieve with your life, pretty sure you're on with it, so am I. So I just stay away and I just ignore. So that's another form of protecting your energy at all costs. Now, people are going to label you stuff, and when you don't say something, people will put words in your mouth and conclude what they want to conclude. But part of growing up, and I think part of feminine energy as well, in my experience, is that let people be who they are. Let them believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe you're a bad person because you put up boundaries, let them believe it. There's a saying, I'm going to paraphrase it, but a saying that goes, the people that are offended by your boundaries are people that wanted to violate your boundaries anyway. I'm not going to be mad at you for having boundaries unless I was trying to take advantage of you and now your boundaries are getting in the way of my plan. Do you see where I'm going with this? If you say no and somebody makes you feel bad about it, you really have to kind of rethink, okay, what's this person's actual agenda, you know? Because it's not a mutual anything. It seems like it's very one-sided, right? So just learn to say no. And people don't have to like you, which is my third point. People don't have to like you, but they don't get to use you. They don't have to be your best friend. They don't have to say only good things about you. They can say bad things. I'm at that point where I'm like, hey, you know, if you want to add your bad story on top of that one's bad story about me, go ahead. If I'm the toxic one, that's also okay, right? But what we're not going to do is use me and use my energy and cultivate my energy and keep draining it because you see the, you know, the vibe and you want some of it. You know what I mean? You're not about to drain me. You don't have to like me, but you don't get to use me. And that's really embracing the inner Bish, right? And she's very important because she's all about boundaries, and she's also all about really getting to a point where you love yourself enough to know that that's enough. So you don't have to be liked by 100 people. You only really have to be liked by one person, and that's you. And that one like is bigger than all the likes put together. So your inner Bish helps you to understand that you have to like you first. Once you like you, you could not care less about people's opinion of you. And it's one of the most freeing things you can do for yourself, right? So embrace that. Embrace people not liking you. If you're a people pleaser, I'm a recovering people pleaser. If you're a people pleaser, this is probably going to be the hardest thing, right? But once you get it, it's going to be the most freeing thing in the world. When you don't care about what people think about you, then you have the freedom to mold yourself into that person that you admire, that you respect. And once you start getting your own self-respect and your own admiration, girl, let them talk. But what we're not gonna do, okay, is play over here. That's what we're not gonna do. All right, so that's how you protect your feminine energy. And like I said, it's simple things like learning to say no, learning to even say not today, maybe I can do next week. If you need to postpone, what you need to do, train yourself to energetically exit certain chats, because if you don't, it's not only going to cost you your actual feminine energy, it might cost you your life. It might cost you your well-being. It might cost you money. I mean, we've heard of these horrible friends that, you know, will drain your pockets, or, you know, will take your man, or will mess up your stuff at your job, or mess up your stuff with your family, and they just do it. And you know, women keep them around because it's so bad to lose a friend. No, when you are your own best friend, other people could just hike and keep it moving. So ladies, that is the video. I hope this helped. I know we went a little bit deep, but I really felt this message is very important, especially in light of what's happening around us. And also because a lot of us are really coming into this energy, and you know, it's just one of those things that we have to be aware of, so that we're not right? And let me know if you have any techniques that you want to share on how you energetically or verbally say no to certain invites from men and women. And do you have experiences with frenemies, people that really just want almost to be you? They just want your energy, they want your style, they want your swag, they want your presence, because they know when you're around things get popping. Do you have, stuff like that going on in your life? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have that chat. Remember to stay feminine, protect your femininity, and I'll definitely see you beautiful ladies in the next one.